This is the epitome of a sports town, and
Yeah.
we felt it all day. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But tonight's game just wrapped up, Game 3. Phillies win 4-2. What a great game. Very well played, besides a few defensive miscues here and there, but really well played game. Pitched well throughout. Really exciting game. And from the word go, the Phillies needed to get this crowd. The crowd was already into it. But, man, the very first inning of the game, Phillies come up to bat. Kyle Schwarber hits a home run. And, by the way, shout out to the guy pregame. They called it. We have that call right here. Let's check it out.
I think Schwarber's hitting a bomb tonight. He's due. We're getting Schwarber a hot dog right after he hits a bomb, baby. Let's get it.
3-2 pitch. In the air to right center field. Back it goes. Leadoff home run.
Shout out to that guy. By the way, saw Kyle Schwarber eating a hot dog a little while later, so a little after the game. So
Did
maybe
you really?
No.
Okay, I was like,
I'm sure
not
he
me.
did. I'm sure he did get his hot dog. Kyle Schwarber started off the game with a bang, and this crowd that was already, and we can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
The crowd that really didn't need anything to get going anymore went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and just I want to note here, every fan was in their seat before first pitch. They were on their feet. They were going wild. We'll give you a little taste of what we experienced in the pregame show a little bit later. But this was such a big game to really set the tone for these next 3 games in Philly. And fun fact, I think I shared it in the pregame show, the team that takes Game 3 have taken the series 69% of the time. So it's a pretty big deal to get that series lead in Game 3.
Wow. Yeah, and this is, I talked to John Smoltz the day of Game 1, and he said something that piqued my interest, which was, yeah, I've started a few NLCS Game 1s in my career, but really there's less pressure on those. The turning point in a 7-game series is Game 3. And you can feel it. And because of that stat you just said, yeah, getting out to a lead is great, and it's extremely valuable. But that Game 3 can be the turning point of a series. And obviously we don't know who's going to go on to win this series. But it just feels like tonight was a huge swing game one way or the other. Phillies come out quick, score some runs, obviously end up winning this game 4-2.
The other big thing with this fan base, I know we've hit on it a lot, but you can see how much the Phillies are feeding off of the fans, making little plays, freaking out, showing their excitement. We heard Brandon Marsh tell us that they're feeding off the fact that they are in on every pitch, every at-bat, and it kind of showed up here tonight as well.
The players can feel it. And I look no further than Gene Segura tonight in multiple different instances. He had a play offensively, he had a play defensively where, yeah, they were great. He had an RBI hit over the second baseman's head where he spiked the bat. That was cool. And then the play right over here behind us at second base where makes the diving play, gets up, throws it to second there, then to first. And then there was another play where he made a diving play to his left, throws to first base, and just shows all of the emotion in the world, is so pumped up, like goes down to the ground, and that's the crowd. Players aren't doing that when the fans aren't super into it. He makes that play, the crowd goes wild, and it makes him do that. So you can't understate the importance of the crowd tonight. The players felt it. The fans in the stands were building off of the players off of the fans, and this was the perfect sports environment.
It really was. I really want to hit on the starting pitching, too, because that was a big point, a topic heading into this game. And Ranger Suarez really needed a bounce-back game after his first postseason outing. And he looked pretty solid through 5 innings. So I personally was a little surprised that he got pulled after 5, not being able to go through that order a 3rd time through. My thought on this is why not see if he can go one more inning, give the bullpen a little rest. This is a 7-game series. You are putting your bullpen, your pitchers through a lot. I thought he should have stayed in for one more.
So my thing there, one, before this game started, after our last game in San Diego, one key point I made is that Ranger Suarez needs to step up. If the Phillies want to win this series, you need to have more than Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez can be that guy. We've seen glimpses, but will he? And the answer tonight became yes. But then you saw that situation where he threw 68 pitches and was pulled from the game, which is quite a it's a talking point. And what I would say to what you said is, in playoff baseball, things can turn on a dime.
Yes.
So there is, yes, let's say you send him back out there. Let's say, worst case scenario, give up a home run, give up a double, and then you bring somebody else in. You give up that double, you're bringing in a pitcher that doesn't have a clean inning going on, which is out of their comfort zone a little bit. You'd rather give them a clean inning. So, yes, it's easy in hindsight to say 68 pitches, he was throwing great, keep him out there. The contrary would be Joe Musgrove, who was throwing well. You send him back out there for a third time through the lineup. Next thing you know, you blink, and there's multiple runs on the board, and your team can't come back from it, and you lose. So I understand the decision. Obviously, looking back, we can both say, like, oh, you did make the right call.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I understand you don't want him to go a third time through the lineup. You have a bullpen that's coming off of an off day. You have all your guys ready to go. And things in the playoffs can change so quickly. How many times have we said, feels like rallies are happening when you get one guy on base? So if you can avoid that, and it didn't end up happening. They brought in Eflin, and multiple guys got on base, and he ended up getting out of it with a crazy double play, bang, bang play at first base. But I get the decision. I understand it. I understood it in the moment, and it ended up working out for the best.
I mean, this game was heated down to the last out. We saw Profar get kicked out of the game in the ninth inning, kicking his helmet, frustrated. You could feel the passion from these players. What was your takeaway?
I go back to the crowd.
Yeah.
Jurickson Profar is probably not that fired up if he doesn't have a crowd screaming and yelling at him, and he plays off that as well. You feed off the energy, positive or negative, one way or the other. But it also, like, look, it doesn't really matter there. It's the ninth inning. You're the first out. Like, you're down 2. The odds of them tying and it getting all the way back around to him are minimal. So he disagreed with a call in a very intense moment, probably the most intense moment of the game to that point. Runner on, leadoff guy got on. He comes up. It is very close whether he swung or not. I mean, there would not be an argument if the umpire said, no, he didn't go. But it went that way. He was furious, fired up. Ninth inning, have at it. Who really cares?
Yeah.
Give him a piece of your mind. I liked it.
That's all right.
Let him have it.
Bringing the energy to the game. Now, the Padres had some tough moments, though, tonight. Juan Soto, a couple tough defensive plays. What do you need to see from them to turn things around tomorrow and try to even this series up?
Juan Soto, Gold Glove finalist Juan Soto, which we could have.
Not a great show in here tonight.
We could have a conversation about that a different day.
Yeah.
So what was the question? I knew I was going to say that about Soto.
That's okay. They had some difficult moments tonight, including Juan Soto's tough defensive plays. What do you need to see from the Padres tomorrow to try to even the series
Get
out?
a lead. Get a lead early in the game. How important has that been in these playoffs? Getting a lead. If you're the team that gets the lead early in a game or at any point, if you get the lead first, you're winning ball games. It's something like an 80+% clip.
Yeah.
So the team that scores first is winning ball games, right? So if you're the Padres in this crowd that they came out tonight and they probably thought, okay, we know the crowd's going to be into it. Now you've experienced it. Now you know it's a legitimate factor.
Yeah.
Come out, score a run or two early, and try your best to take them out of it. I don't know if it's possible, but that's what you got to do is, look, everything going on, yes, you got to pitch well, you got to hit well. If you can scratch across those first runs, you always want to be that team in the playoffs. You don't want to be playing from behind because the odds say if you score first, you're winning the ball game.
Yeah, and the fans came fired up and ready to go. This is the first time the Phillies have hosted an NLCS game since 2010. They are hungry. They have been waiting for this postseason baseball. And we kind of saw that in the pregame show today. I don't know if you guys were watching. If you weren't, holy guacamole, that was wild. That was the craziest. That was the craziest pregame fan show I've ever been a part of.
The pregame show was something that I almost can't explain in words to people. But the good news is I don't have to explain it in words because we have a video that sums it all up. Let's check it out.
Listen, we're talking about the fighting.
If they don't do okay, I'm not going to be okay.
Hey, Machado, I know you're listening, all right? I know you wear a thong, all right? Listen, We're talking about the fight.
The red, white, and blue reign tonight. San Diego Padres, brown and yellow, questionable colors. Only good thing to come out of San Diego's Ron Burgundy, and even that movie's a little
I'm getting a tattoo. I'm getting the World Series trophy on my thigh, guaranteed.
It's the water. You drink the water and it makes you a different person.
Of course I'm fired up. The Phillies are in the NLCS. Of course I'm fired up. What's the reason not to be fired up?
This is the best fan base you could ever be in.
Justin Verlander's got a good-looking brother, too. Got a good-looking brother.
I don't even know. That is just perfect. Every single day throughout the NLCS and World Series, Alex and I are going to be part of a pregame show as well. And if that's not a reason enough to check it out every single game, we will be doing the same thing tomorrow and the next day most likely. So check that out. That was over at Xfinity Live in Philadelphia, which is right next to the stadium. It's a massive, massive complex, really, with multiple bars and food places throughout. And it's right in the middle of the Sixers and Flyers Stadium, right next to the Eagles Stadium, and right next to the Phillies. It's right in the middle of all of that. It's right in the middle of the action, and there are plenty of drinks flowing, which I think we got a few of those guys a part of it.
Yeah, that was wild. It's the biggest sports bar with 20 individual sports bars within that giant sports bar, and there was smoke going, there was light shows. It felt a little bit like a college frat party, crazy. There was a lot of college kids there going wild. Speaking of going wild, we also decided to hop on the mechanical bull. How'd you do, huh?
Look.
How'd you do?
Okay.
We're going to show you the video.
We know. The video is playing right now. There was a mechanical bull in the Xfinity Live. Naturally, we had to go check it out. So I went and rode first. What Alex and I did was we created a little friendly competition against each other. And so I went over first. And
I didn't watch.
She didn't watch. No. And then we switched, and I didn't watch. So we didn't know how each other did until afterwards when we watched the video, watched the tape back. You're watching the video now. If you're watching this and not just listening, you can see it. And
22 seconds for you.
22 seconds for myself, and then here you go. And
I borrowed your jacket. Thank you for
welcome.
that, by the way. So maybe it's the lucky jacket because you weren't wearing it when you were riding the bull.
So what I was told when I bought this jacket is it adds 5 extra seconds to all bull riding expeditions, and I lost by 4 seconds. So what happened is you had my jacket, so I would have been at 27 seconds, and as we see here, you fell off at 26, beating my 22, but it was all part of the jacket. And little did we know, because this happened pretty early on while we were over there. Little did we know this would be the tamest thing that we saw while we were over there. It does not compare to what we saw a little later. So make sure you check in on our pregame shows while we are here in Philadelphia. I promise you they will be wild. You know what, this whole day has been the experience of these are one of the days you don't forget. The pregame show with this game, walking out on the field, doing this show. These are the days you don't forget.
This was pretty magical. Every day that we've been able to do this, bring this experience to you, the fans at home, really just try to be a liaison and bring you along for the ride. Tomorrow we're doing it again at 6:30 p.m., Eastern. But there was another game that went on yesterday that we didn't fully get to talk about.
I have to ask you before we get to that game.
Okay,
because it's something that I've forgotten about to this point.
Okay.
But I need you to talk about your encounter with the Philly Fanatic, who is considered maybe the best, most popular mascot in sports. Alex had quite the encounter with the Philly Fanatic before the game today.
I was saying hi to Big Papi, and then Philly Fanatic comes right behind him. I was excited to meet him. Apparently, he was super excited to meet me, too.
and then we took a picture together, and he shoved me out of the way. And it was just the two of you taking the pictures. So you see why he is as popular as he is. He just does what he wants to do. And
he made the broadcast. He sat right next to Ken Rosenthal during one of his hits. It's been a time. The energy top to bottom in Philly is unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched in postseason baseball from what I've experienced so far.
I agree. So Game 3 was unbelievable. Phillies take a 2-1 lead.